Have you ever noticed that Coldplay always tells a story in their songs? If you just listen to the sound and don't pay attention to the lyrics, some important details might have gone unnoticed. In this video, we're going to reveal how the song Paradise is much deeper than you ever imagined and carries a powerful message that few have the courage to hear. I'm Ingrid, and you're on the Decipher Hits channel. No one is better to explain the lyrics of Paradise than the band's own lead singer, Chris Martin. In an interview with MTV News, Chris said it's easier to understand the meaning of the song if you look at it within the context of the album. So, let's do that. Paradise is the second single from the band's fifth album, Milo Zilotto, released in 2011. The album tells the story of a man and a woman who grew up separated in a huge and oppressive city and who were quite lost in life. The plot, based on a comic book series created by Coldplay themselves, unfolds in parallel with the album, where the man, Milo, and the woman, Zilotto, lived on a planet called Silencia and fought against a totalitarian government. According to Chris Martin, the song Paradise is about Zilotto, a girl who is lost in the world and uses her dreams to try to escape reality. In the music video, Zilotto is represented by an elephant who appears right at the beginning, trapped in a zoo cage. Ironically, the place in London is called Paradise Wildlife Park, something like a wildlife paradise. On the wall, Zilotto draws 3 other elephants, probably members of her family. She also makes several marks, indicating that she had been imprisoned for a long time, and unable to stand captivity any longer, Zilotto tries to find a way to escape, and with the help of a stone, she manages to escape, but she is chased by the zoo guards. Luckily, she finds a bicycle lying on the ground, gets on it, and escapes toward the big city. And with no resources to return home, she starts begging for money at a subway station. And at that moment, the first verse of the song begins. When she was a little girl, she hoped to have the world. When we are children, we tend to have big dreams about the future, but often they get lost as we grow up and face the difficulties of real life. The character tries to escape the frustration of reality by seeking refuge in her dreams, where she can be and have whatever she wants, even paradise. At this moment, a movie poster called Screwed appears, which basically means in trouble, perhaps indicating the complicated situation of our elephant protagonist. Right above, we see the name of the station, Belsize Park, the same neighborhood where Chris Martin lived at the time of this music video. An interesting fact about the station scene is that the passengers were not extras. Matt Whitecross, the director of the music video, revealed in an interview, the Londoners, with their classic style, didn't seem surprised to be sitting next to an elephant on the subway and didn't care about the presence of the camera. Back to the music video, our protagonist takes the subway towards Heathrow Airport in London, which would be about an hour-long trip. Arriving at the airport, she takes advantage of a moment when the staff are distracted and manages to sneak onto the plane. The next image we see is of Table Mountain, a 1,000-meter-high mountain on the coast of Cape Town, South Africa, which is where the plane carrying Zilotto is headed. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more analyses like this. Once in Cape Town, she keeps asking for help to return to her home, which is in a savanna near Johannesburg, about 1,400 kilometers away from there. And after a small reference to Michael Jackson, our protagonist finally manages to get some coins as a donation. And she heads to her hometown, even passing by the Nelson Mandela Bridge, one of Johannesburg's famous landmarks. Here, he is referring to the expression bite the bullet, which literally means to bite the bullet and is used when someone needs to face a difficult and uncomfortable situation instead of running away. In other words, many times we need to face the problem head-on in order to survive and grow. This meaning becomes even stronger in the next lines when he says, "Life goes on and gets so heavy. Life goes on and gets very heavy. The wheel breaks the butterfly." Here, it's another metaphor, where the wheel represents the difficulties of real life and the butterfly represents the fragility and innocence of a child, which is lost as we become adults. Another important point is that the butterfly is a symbol of change and transformation. This metamorphosis often comes with physical or psychological pain, which explains the line, "Each tear a waterfall." This phrase, besides being the title of another song from the same album, means that when we grow up, we may not cry as much as a child, but each adult tear can carry so much weight that it would be like a waterfall. And in tears, she closes her eyes during a stormy night, an expression that can represent the darkness and confusion of her mind and the difficulties in her life, since Ziloto goes through such deep melancholy that the only thing she wants to do is close her eyes and sleep, because in her dreams, she can escape reality. Back to the music video, our protagonist needs a way to get back home. She finds a bike shop and tries to buy one with the coins she had received, but unfortunately, the change is only enough for a unicycle, so she keeps pedaling down the road alone. Ziloto even tries to hitchhike a few times, but she is ignored. Determined and resilient, she keeps pedaling toward her dream. This finally leads her to maturity, and as a reward, she manages to find her group of elephants on the savannah. The group is actually made up of the members of Coldplay themselves, who then appear performing in the same outfits at FNB Stadium in Johannesburg. Now, you might be wondering if the song and the album develop in parallel with the Milo Ziloto comic book story. What do the elephant and South Africa have to do with all of this? In fact, Chris Martin could have used the same artwork from the comic book, just like he did in the video for Hearts Like Heaven from the same album. But the truth is that the Paradise music video we know today is quite different from what Coldplay and director Hype Williams, who had directed the Viva La Vida video, had originally planned for Paradise. The problem was that the video had a release date, but it ended up being delayed by 2 weeks. And to make matters worse, the band didn't like the final result of the project at all. Besides that, they were on tour in South Africa at that time, and they couldn't stop and try another option. With no way out and in the middle of the night, Chris Martin called the director Matt Whitecross, who was in London and had already done some work with Coldplay. Chris then asked if Matt could come to South Africa the next morning, since he needed to make a music video. A video for Paradise in up to 2 days. Matt accepted the proposal and worked at record speed trying to come up with an idea. Matt said that just as he was about to send the ideas he had, he received an email from Chris saying, "Don't worry, I've already come up with an idea. I need you to bring 4 elephant costumes and a unicycle with you." Matt thought Chris was joking, but he was serious. The question is, how was he going to manage to buy all of that and travel to South Africa in just a few hours? Matt imagined a realistic and sophisticated elephant costume and remembered an acquaintance who worked in costume making and might be able to help him. He explained the situation to his friend, who replied, "Sure, no problem. It should take about 2 months to be ready. How much time do you have?" And Matt replied, "Man, I have about 3 hours and I'm heading to the airport now." Clearly, it was time for Plan B. Coldplay's assistants had found the unicycle and the costumes online, but there were only 3 units available. The 4th costume had to be rented from another supplier, and that's why, in the music video, you can see that the bassist is dressed a little differently from the others. Had you noticed that? Comment down below, #elephant, and we'll give your comment a heart. All the scenes of Ziloto are performed by Chris Martin, and he made a point of keeping the mask on during every scene. Matt even tried to convince Chris to take off the mask so people would know he wasn't an actor, but he only agreed to do it once, which is in this scene right here. And when asked about the elephant, Chris Martin replied that he wanted to portray the sad reality of zoo animals and that freedom for them would be like paradise. In this way, he maintains the album's narrative by drawing a parallel with Ziloto, who sought freedom by fighting against the totalitarian government on the planet Silence. Besides the band, the only extras in the music video were the two zoo guards, who were played by Phil Harvey, Coldplay's manager, and Tim Crampton from the band The High Wire, who agreed to work for free in the scene. Even though everything was improvised and last minute, the music video turned out really well, and it was such a huge success that in 2012 it won the VMA for Best Rock Video, and currently it already has over 1 billion views on YouTube. In the final scene of the music video, the lyrics say, "So, lying under that stormy sky," she said, "I know the sun needs to set so it can rise again, and this could be paradise." In other words, Xyloto learned that we often go through painful trials that destroy our dreams and frustrate our desires. But if we learn to deal with these adversities, we become more resilient, mature, and evolved. And this evolution can be paradise. By the way, just as the writer Steve Maraboli said, happiness is not the absence of problems, but your ability to deal with them. If you've watched the video up to this point, you must have really enjoyed our content. So, besides leaving a like and subscribing to our channel, now you can also contribute directly to the Cifra Hits by clicking the thanks button. We'd also like to give a special thank you to the subscribers who supported us with super thanks on the last video. Thank you so much for staying with us until now, and see you next time.